is 4 in the morning and the wind just picked up and we gotta get the dinghy up on deck. In a very sketchy small anchorage. Well, not small but shallow. And yeah, we didn't prepare ourselves last night. We just ate dinner, watched a movie, went to bed, left a ton of shit out. Yeah, didn't prep anything. So we're getting cleaned up. We're gonna get it up on deck.
As we went to bed that night, the wind was blowing from the south, a strange direction, but we hoped that it would hold out at least until the morning light and not switch to the west. Unfortunately, we were awoken in the early morning when Spy began pitching in the building waves. We needed to be prepared to leave if these westerly winds and seas built, turning our safe harbor into a dangerous lee shore.
We got the big half on deck, and we just have to get the little half on deck.
Once our dinghy was securely strapped to the deck and loose items stowed below decks, we knew we would be able to breathe with some relief, knowing that Spy was ready to head out to the safety of the sea, if need be. Tether was chafing through, so I had to I cut it. I put a double carrick into it, but it's messing with feeding it through these eyes to strap the dinghy down.
Yeah, I guess we haven't put the dinghy on deck since that happened.
On deck. Of course, as soon as we got the dinghy on deck and loose items stowed, the wind switched back around to the south and the waves calmed. So we went back to bed for a couple more hours of rest before leaving for La Paz later that morning. We decided to stop behind this bluff here. It made a nice windbreak from the waves and swell. We were pounding into them, headed back out towards La Paz this morning. Forecast, we finally got some service, and it said that the wind was going to mellow out here around noon. We also decided to make some water. We made water for a couple hours. That should be about 12 gallons. We're running the engine to top off the batteries because our solar panels just aren't keeping up with the demands of our system with the water maker and the fridge and everything. So we've been having to run the engine a little more than we would like, a lot more than we would like. I would like to not have to run it at all to charge the batteries, but at the moment that's what we're having to do. Hopefully we can find some solar panels in La Paz and build a little bigger system. I'll pull up the anchor now, get out of here. Hopefully make it to La Paz where we can get some fuel and some food. Pretty hungry. We've been eating, what did we eat this morning? We had a protein shake and I had some peanut butter. So we're down to whatever we can eat cold. What we do have is cold cans of beans if I get real hungry. After motoring all day, we finally made it to La Paz. I promised the lady some fine foods.
Yes, he did. Mariscos, seafood.
Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
We couldn't wait to get back out and explore more of the islands, so we got right to work on our to-do list. Amazingly, we found another sailor on the La Paz Cruisers Net, a local VHF sailors network who were looking to part with some older solar panels. After getting two 80-watt panels from them, we were on the hunt for some stainless steel tubing to mount them on. But, as always while we were in La Paz, first, tacos. After 6 hours and running all around town, we finally located some stainless that would fit our needs.
We had to go on a wild goose chase for some stainless steel. And luckily they pointed us in the right direction. We got this massive piece for how much? $35. Otherwise it would have been $130.
I couldn't wait to get started on the new project. Without the fancy connectors to attach the new tubing, I decided to get creative with some string.
Started off with a constrictor knot. And I'm going to do this twisty thing.
No. Off. Psst. Get off.
She's mad because I kicked her off of the Dodger. I love you.
Alright. There we go. Our pole's strapped up. Poles cost $35. Panels cost $50. Solar on the cheap.
Luckily, I already had these handy plastic mounts on board. After drilling a few holes in the existing solar panel frame and a couple of nuts and bolts later, I was ready to mount the panels. Getting these panels up was a top priority. The water maker requires that we run it regularly to keep its sensitive membrane filter from growing bacteria, and we hoped these panels would keep us from having to run our engine to keep up with its energy demand. With the solar panels mounted this way, we would be able to lift them up and face them into the sun at various angles throughout the day. And the last thing I needed to do was wire them up. This meant pulling most of the tools out of our storage lockers and chaotically tossing them about the boat to find the 5 or 6 that I needed. Eloise was not impressed.
Making 8 amps.
8 amps is fantastic. The most we had ever made before was 6.8 at peak sun, and this was at sundown. With our projects finished and the boat resupplied, we went to Baja to wait out some northerly winds. This was quickly becoming one of our favorite anchorages, as it was protected from the regular winter norte winds. A perfect getaway just a few miles from the crowded and lumpy La Paz harbor. The new solar panels worked even better than we could have hoped. After running our water maker for 6 hours and topping off our water tanks, the batteries were still full. We no longer needed to motor from destination to destination to keep our batteries topped off. Spy could be a sailboat again. We just needed to wait for some favorable winds. Soon, the wind switched to the west. We made some coffee, upped anchor, and Spy was doing her magic again. It was exhilarating to be sailing once again. It had been nearly a month since we had last had our sails up for a proper sail.
I'm going diving today with these guys over here. It's pretty windy today, so I don't know. Could be not the best conditions.
We're gonna go diving in the wind. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be so cold.
It's gonna be nice. We're gonna play with the fish, dolphins. We're gonna swim with the whales and make love to some mermaids together. Okay, I think
We had briefly met some of the crew of Australia while clearing customs in Ensenada. We were really excited to catch up with them here on Espiritu Santo. They were extremely generous in lending us a couple of wetsuits, then getting in the water with us to give us some pointers about diving.
I think it feels alright. I didn't drown.
It's fine. How's the water?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been used to just being in there naked, so this is much better.
So this is a dream.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The 5 crew of Australia are highly skilled freedivers, and we were excited to learn a thing or two from them. Unfortunately, we did not get any footage of Ali and I floundering around in the waves. But here is some incredible footage taken from them while they dove on the Fang Ming, a sunken ship here off the islands, 50 to 60 feet below the surface. Freediving is a skill we plan to continue working on, so one day we too can explore the depths and witness some of this incredible sea life below the surface. Over the next few days, Ali and I were hunkered down on the boat. Nortes were coming ripping through the anchorage. These powerful winds were becoming a regular occurrence, often blowing 3 or 4 days of the week, limiting the amount of time we could be off the boat and exploring the beautiful islands. After the winds had calmed, we moved just north to anchor in Caleta Partida to explore a new bay.
Stung by the stingrays. Yeah! Weird little sea bugs. Oh! Gross! Look how many! Oh my god. Oh, gross.
Amazingly, we had a bit of rain this night, and the next day I had to go for another hike to see what the rain had brought. Really beautiful places here in Mexico. Halfway up this bluff here, and a beautiful view, a rock to sit on. Beautiful spot.